Gonna get in that. Okay, Kai says, I'm a Crawford fan and I think he will edge Spence, but I have to call a spade a spade. This fight at 147 where Spence hold 3 belts and done more numbers. Okay. I want to assess those 3 belts. And and this is my point. It's been a conspiracy to hold Crawford back. He couldn't get to none of the belts. They wasn't going to give him none of the belts. Damn. They wasn't going to give him none of the belts. And because we couldn't get none of the belts, what make us get the fucking 50-50 is that we have 2 fucking ring magazines. Undisputed already. You understand? We already was a champion going up before this fella. Come on. You got to pay some type of homage. Come on. Stop. That's what I'm trying to ask you. That's why I want you to understand. Fuck, is you a fan? God damn. Or you, what are you? You understand? That's what I'm asking you guys. That's what you're not understanding. Fuck.
Was real disappointed not getting that fight. Crawford said about his feelings when the Pacquiao fight fell through. We was 2 days away from securing that fight. A lot of things happened. Manny Pacquiao's side lied to us. It's a whole bunch of things and reasons why that fight didn't happen. Like I always say, everything happens for a reason. And the fight didn't happen, and we're here now. Sean Porter is the fighter that I'm fighting, and that's the fight we're focused on more than any other fights. Now. That fan that came on Burning the Boxer, and what you call it, live. He's not a Terrence Ball Crawford fan. Errol Spence Jr. have the weirdest fan base. They present themselves as Terrence Ball Crawford fans, and they say some dumb shit, right? If you pay attention to Terrence Ball Crawford's career, you know that he was absolutely being conspired against, not only from Al Heyman, but from Bob Arum also. We all know that Bob Arum has a history of treating fighters like shit when they're ascending. That's why they always end up leaving Bob Arum, right? But in Terrence Ball Crawford case, the PBC, they tried their best to get Terrence Ball Crawford over to the PBC side by blocking all the fights. Now, this is Terrence Ball Crawford talking about the Manny Pacquiao fight, right? Everybody remember that Manny Pacquiao and Terrence Ball Crawford was in so-called negotiation for a big fight, right? That would have been Terrence Ball Crawford's biggest payday, and he would have collected the WBA strap. Now, we all know that Al Heyman was not going to let that fight happen. This have nothing to do with Manny Pacquiao investment. It has nothing to do with that. Al Heyman wanted to show power, right? It's a power control. He wanted to show Terrence Ball Crawford, you can't move, you can't do nothing without me. You can't do nothing without me. You're never going to be able to ascend without me. So they made it look like they were negotiating with Terrence Ball Crawford. Send Terrence Ball Crawford a contract when there was no money on the table. I don't understand how you send a man a contract when there's no money on the table and you're expecting him to sign that contract. So Bomac went over the contract and he realized that there was no money was on the table. So he didn't sign the contract, right? That was an Al Heyman plan. Al Heyman is behind all of this shit that's going on right now, right? It's all about leverage and it's all about money when it comes to Al Heyman. Terrence Ball Crawford being this tremendous talent, they would have liked Terrence Ball Crawford to be on the PBC side. So the fake negotiation with Manny Pacquiao, it was not real. It was Al Heyman showing this guy that you're not going to get this fight. There's no way you're going to get this fight. I'm not going to make you make $20 million. I'm not going to make you collect that second belt, right? Because if Terrence Ball Crawford gets that second belt, you got to understand that there is literally no leverage from Mr. Errol Spence Jr. There is no leverage because Errol Spence Jr., he has the IBF. He was holding at that time the IBF and the WBC. And if Terrence Ball Crawford beats Yordenis Ugas, he would be holding the BO and the WBA, and they know that Terrence Ball Crawford was gonna beat Yordenis Ugas. So this is what they did, right? They put Yordenis Ugas in a motherfucking tournament where he fought nobody, right? Where he fought nobody, because you guys gotta remember that Errol Spence Jr., he had an eye injury at the time. So they put Yordenis Ugas in a tournament where he fought nobody, took him off the table for any type of negotiation with Terrence Bud Crawford, right? and waited until Errol Spence Jr. I got better and then made a fight between Yordenis Ugas and Errol Spence Jr. Because Terrence Bud Crawford and Sean Porter fought on what day? Was it November 20th, right? 2021. Sean Porter, Errol Spence Jr. and Yordenis Ugas fought sometime in April, right? So that's a 6-month window that Terrence Bud Crawford had to negotiate with Yordenis Ugas. It only take 1 month for a camp, right? So they strategically took Yordenis Ugas out the picture by putting him in a tournament that never existed. He never fought in that tournament. He waited all this time, and then after Errol Spence Jr. I got better, the WBA, right, and shout out to Dante's Boxing Nation, because he did his due diligence and found disturbing information about the WBA taking bribes from promoters, right? If you guys don't believe me, run the motherfucking tape.
Company for $17,250. Greg Cohen, he tells them it's for Sports Consulting Services, SCS. He said it's an international company that works very closely with the sanctioning bodies. The plaintiff's attorney, he asked Greg Cohen, what does it do? And Greg says they are an advocate and lobbyist on behalf of various boxers and promoters and managers. Then Cohen states that he relies on advocates or lobbyists such as Sports Consulting Services in order to obtain from the sanctioning bodies high rankings for his fighters. Greg Cohen, he just admitted in a deposition that he pays off, he bribes certain companies, certain entities to get his fighters elevated when it comes to rankings, like a mandatory spot. Put them in position to where they will have a title shot. He was then asked, how much do you usually have to pay to get these type of favors for these fighters? And he says sometimes it's thousands of dollars, sometimes it's millions. And this money is paid to Sports Consulting Services. This is when the plaintiff's attorney, he asked him, so who owns Sports Consulting Services? And Greg, he said, who's the owner? Yeah, if you know, who's the owner? And then he says, I don't know the ownership structure of that company. Well, it turns out this SCS company has been pretty much controlled, handled, and ran by the WBA. One individual listed as a current officer on SCS is Zalabi Cuba, who identifies herself on Instagram as a social media manager for the WBA. Another person that was working for this SCS company is Alfredo Mendoza, which turns out to be the WBA president's son, Gilberto Mendoza. So while Greg Cohen contradicted himself in this deposition by saying that he didn't know who SCS was, it turns out that SCS is basically the WBA. It turns out it's a fake company that the WBA was using so money would not be traced back to them when promoters and managers and whoever else were paying them for bribes to elevate a fighter's ranking, to get a fighter a mandatory position or a title shot, or even possibly to protect certain champions from possibly a dangerous mandatory.
And this is why I say I deserve an award for what I do, because I do my due diligence and I leave no doubt in the mind of the people for y'all to even question what I have to say, right? I connect the dots very perfectly. I paint a vivid picture for y'all to understand, right? So it's evident that Al Heyman was paying the WBA for favors, right? Because there's no way in hell that Yordenis Ugas was put in a tournament, right? Y'all listen to what I'm saying, right? He was put in a tournament which he never competed in, right? Until Errol Spence Jr. I got better, and then the fight got made right after that. Right after that. Right after Errol Spence Jr. I got better, right? The fight was made. Because they can't, Yordenis Ugas can't fight anyone if the WBA ordered him in a tournament, right? If they ordered him to be in a tournament, he can't fight nobody. He was supposed to fight some Samonis or whatever the nigga name is he was supposed to fight, right? And that was strategically done by Al Heyman, right? So when you see Al Heyman is going broke, it's because they're working overtime and they're spending a whole lot of money to make sure that their fighters are in position to have all these belts so they can have leverage in every single negotiation. In every single negotiation. So when Terrence Bull Crawford said he's being conspired against, when Bernie the Boxer said that Terrence Bull Crawford is being conspired against, that's exactly what he means by that, right? And if you guys don't believe me, you can ask Sean Porter. I know you guys remember when Sean Porter came out and he said he has people and he has advisors that he has to listen to that told him it is not in his best interest to fight Terrence Bull Crawford. If you guys think I'm lying, roll the motherfucking tape again.
Why don't you activate your mandatory versus Crawford?
Yeah.
No.
There's like 7 people who comment every single one of
Yeah.
the videos.
Let me say this. And if I get in trouble, I get in trouble. It's what it is. Y'all should already know that when you saying, well, hey, you should have did this, you should have did that. I have people that I have to listen to. And when those people give me direction, when those people give me the business and tell me where it works to my advantage and where it doesn't, I have to sit back and do what I have to do. And at this point in time, I'm still sitting back and seeing what's going to happen.
So I bet that doesn't mean anything to y'all. People that he has to listen to, people that's putting money in his pocket. You know who that people he's talking about, Al Heyman, right? That's who's putting money in Sean Porter's pocket. So these guys can't move, they can't shit, they can't do nothing without Al Heyman. So when y'all see Brandon the Boxer comes out and he says they're conspiring against Terrence Bud Crawford, this is what conspiring means. Like Al Heyman, he's very powerful, and one reason why he's very powerful is because he's in partnership with Money Mayweather. And Mayweather has a lot of money, you feel me? So it's very hard for the PBC to go broke, because him and Al Heyman, they're in partnership together. That's why you see Mayweather, he could just go around and just fight little dumbass fights. Nigga fighting niggas in Japan and fighting Conor McGregor and all this shit. All the money, all of them fights that he's doing is earning him a whole lot of money. So that's the reason why Bernie the Boxer said conspiracy and they're conspiring against Terrence Bull Crawford, and it's just the fucking truth. Al Heyman is mad at Terrence Bull Crawford because Terrence Bull Crawford did not go to the PBC side, right? So he tried everything in his power to keep this man from succeeding and keep this man from actually getting all the belts. And that's the honest truth. And I see it, and I come with evidence, and I'm always gonna come with evidence. I just don't say shit. Y'all realize that, right? Whenever I talk, or whenever I have conversations with y'all, I just don't say shit. It's easy for somebody to just say shit with no evidence, but I come with evidence, and I come with all the information so you guys can see, and don't say, oh, you're just making shit up. No, nigga, I come with all evidence so y'all see that Al Heyman is a piece of shit. And this is the reason why boxing it is how it is right now. It's the reason why Tank Davis, which I got nothing against Tank Davis, it's just the truth. Tank Davis, he haven't fought anyone, but people consider him the best fighter at 135 because they got niggas like the LDBC that is in place to sit here and broadcast Tank like Tank is the best fighter. They got Mayweather that's pushing Tank for the whole world to believe that Tank is the best fighter at 135, and he's just not. But y'all see, Mr. Cleanup Gang, I do this shit every day, and I don't know what else to say to y'all, bro. Y'all see right here. That's all I got for y'all. If y'all enjoy this content, make sure y'all leave a like, make sure y'all hit that subscription button, make sure y'all share this video, and that's all I got for y'all. I'm out.